Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the weekly vlog here. I lost track episodes, maybe 8, I think, possibly, who knows. If you guys are already not subscribed to the channel, I would appreciate it if you did down below. Just keep up to date with the latest content I'm going to be pushing out here for you guys. This one's going to be pretty short. So you can call this basically a retrofit kit, I guess, or an update kit for the cold air intake. They're now on version 2. If you bought the first iteration, you'll notice that the fender, the little grommet that goes into the fender well or whatever, like the wheel well area, it fits very loosely in that cutout hole in the fender. And they actually have a solution to that with the newer one. It's a much thicker, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this here, much thicker material. It's super heavy compared to the last one, a lot thicker. Feels like it's a lot better made, better material. They also have this cool little reusable zip tie, so you can actually zip tie the grommet onto the intake so you don't run into the issue of it becoming loose. And what I mean by reusable is it has this little tiny piece right here. You just have to push it and you can release it. So you can tighten it and you just push this here to disengage the, I guess, the tooth or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so that's kind of cool. So if you ever have to take it off or whatever, you're not screwed. You don't have to keep reusing or reinstalling tie wraps, I should say. They also include, I believe this is like the hose that goes from the intake to the plenum for like the blow-by stuff. This seems like a better made one than what they previously had, because you ran into the issue where it was super tight fitting. So it looks like they give you a band clamp for, I believe the one that fit super tight was the one that was on the intake. So I'm gonna assume this is the intake side here. And it's gonna come up like this, or however you wanna look at it. But yeah, this is definitely going to go on the side where that little snap ring or whatever you want to call it is super tight on that one side, and it was a pain in the ass to get on. And they also have, this is super, super nice. I know I keep saying super nice, but this is a very nice throttle body, I guess you could call it like throttle body coupler or whatever. The previous one was just a straight one size thing of, I guess, like you could call it silicone or whatever this material is, but it looks like this one has a different interior, some kind of coating on the inside. And if you look closely, it looks like the coupler has like an indentation to where it can back up against either the throttle body or the intake. I believe that would be going towards the throttle body to ensure that it's mated up right, and it's going to ensure like a nice flow of air. It's not going to be like the last one where you would catch that lip of the throttle body. You might lose like fractions of CFMs by having it like that, because most of the time like a real throttle body coupler is going to be made for that throttle body with that indentation cut out so it can sit on there flush, and there's going to be a smooth surface for the air to flow over. And they also give you a carb compliancy sticker. I don't really need that for me, but it comes with it, so that's good. So anyways, now that that's out of the way, I was only going to touch on maybe a few things here. Truck's basically done. Rear bumper is supposedly almost ready from CBI. It should be out the end of this week, and that would mean I could finally finish this truck, because all I need is that rear bumper. I've been holding off for it for a while. So they're in the final leg of manufacturing it right now, I guess you could say, or testing it, because they want to make sure that the blind spot monitoring system isn't going to be compromised. Like I said in the previous video, I find it hard to believe these other companies have it buttoned down if CBI can't get it. And CBI, like I said, CBI/Printsuit, they wouldn't release a product unless they know that it's going to work. I mean, granted, the front bumper radar sensor thing is kind of iffy with the relocation stuff, but that's a whole different beast, to be honest, because you're moving a sensor like not just maybe like a few fractions of an inch or whatever. You're moving that like a fucking like 2 feet in that case. So yeah, you might run into issues with that stuff. But I'm pretty sure the rear bumper should be good. And that's really it. All the rock lights around, I'll do a video on the rock lights, how I installed them. I had to buy a magnetic mount that was made for a Baja Designs rock light, but I kind of made it work for the last fit rock lights. And then I bought these little magnets off of Amazon to screw onto the aluminum bracket that I think it was Rago Fabrications makes. And I was able to stick it directly onto the frame of the truck on the inner portion away from the rock sliders and stuff, so the light isn't going to be impeded by any materials or parts or whatever. The last thing I want to touch on here, guys, is I don't know if it's just me being salty. I'm not going to mention any of the stuff because, I mean, it doesn't really matter. But it's certain things like, I wouldn't say are upsetting. I would say it's more, I'm just like disappointed. So I reached out, I'm not going to say the company, but I reached out a while back about a roof rack for the truck. And I also was like, hey, I have the front runner one. I installed this far before, or long before anyone else has even thought about putting a roof rack on these new Frontiers. And I think it would be cool if I could get my hands on your roof rack, because I don't really see it on any other Frontiers, and I could do a comparison to the front runner Slimline 2 that I installed. And I could go over the differences in the install and the quality and I guess the accessories that are available and stuff. And basically the unnamed company told me to go pound sand, for a lack of better words. And then I ended up reaching out to that company again later on about a possible idea of using their Diamondback compatible, I guess, bed rack setup that they make. And I was like, hey, I want to run a wedge style type tent, but my front runner load bars won't allow me, once I have a bumper that's going to have that spare tire, it's not going to allow me enough height to clear that tire once everything's mounted up. And if I got your bed rack system, I would be able to mount that wedge tent just above where the spare tire would be sitting, and that wedge tent would end up coming in. Basically, it was almost gonna, like, I did all the, like, I drew it out, and it was probably like maybe an inch past to flush with that spare tire. So it was gonna overhang the bed, but the back of the wedge tent would have been flush with that spare tire. And then when you go to open the spare tire carriers is where you can set up your ladder and stuff, and you can have your little table off to the side and all that stuff all set up and ready to go for like your camping, and that would have been awesome. Again, the company told me, yeah, we're not really looking to do anything right now. And also the first time too, I reached out about the Frontier stuff, and they were like, oh yeah, we don't need any Frontiers, but then yet they provided a Frontier with that exact roof rack, which, I mean, up to this point hasn't really shown me anything in terms of all the stuff they've done to the truck. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's kind of shitty on the company. I'm not going to mention the names. I mean, if you guys are like pretty smart, you might be able to put two and two together. But yeah, anywho, the bed rack system, like I was saying, for the Diamondback from this company, I reached out to them, like I said, wanted to possibly put a wedge tent on it to show that it will be able to clear that spare tire once I get a bumper that can accommodate a spare tire, right? There's a bunch of things going on here. And I'll just end it with, I think like a week ago, that company reached out to another said influencer with a much larger following than me, like way bigger. And they don't have a Frontier, but they do have a Tacoma with a short bed. And they did exactly what I brought up to them through DMs. I'm not gonna put all this stuff up here, but like, I'm just letting you guys know. And if you do your due diligence, you'll be able to figure out what company it is. But they basically told me to go pound sand, kick rocks. And then when I reached out again about trying to figure something out with us, how we could put, it would be like a mutually beneficial to both parties, they basically told me no, they don't think that's a good idea. And then they have this guy do the exact thing I told them like a few weeks after I brought it up to them. And like, I don't know, certain things like that just rub me the wrong way, and it's slightly annoying. End of the day, I don't really care, because I'm gonna do what I want to do. but I'm probably never gonna support that company in any way, shape, or form going forward from here. Granted, and the thing is also, I have secured like multiple affiliates, like ambassador slots with pretty reputable companies. I'm not going to get into all that, but like some of them are very large companies. And the company I reached out to was a company that could have probably benefited from having their stuff kind of pushed out into the market in a way, like through my media content. And I would have been able to get them a lot of content, but it is what it is. Anyways, like always, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate everything you guys have done for me thus far with subscribing, liking videos, commenting, just engaging back and forth with me, trying to give me a better idea of what you guys want to see going forward. And if you're not following me on Instagram, it's going to be the same username as on YouTube. The giveaway is going to be ending, I'm going to say basically Easter weekend is when that giveaway is going to be ending for the Morphlate, the Moose Knuckle, and Scrub Blade package. So if you guys aren't following me on Instagram, I'd appreciate it. And not even really appreciate, well, I would appreciate it, but also would benefit you guys in doing so and just liking that post. And you just have to tag like 3 of your buddies and you'll be entered to win. And it's unlimited entry, so you can just spam my comment section with all the tags. It doesn't really matter to me. And this is just my way of giving back to all of you guys, like I said previously, out of appreciation for everything you guys have done for me thus far leading up to this point. I know the page is small. On Instagram, I only have maybe 1,600 followers. And I know my YouTube is even smaller. I'm at like 200 subscribers now. But I'm always going to try to help out the people that support me. So just keep that in mind.